Hello, everyone. I'm going to talk about what's happening in the cloud ecosystem across the world with large enterprises. And more importantly, what are we seeing as key trends? Every enterprise across the world, which is competing with digitally native companies which are disrupting their business and operating models, want to be powered by the cloud, by data, and by AI. They all want to be data, AI, and cloud companies. The cloud has become very general purpose technology in the last few years, a technology which is very pervasive in nature, which improves over time and which spawns downstream innovation. The last time we saw something like this was enterprise software 30 years ago, which kind of re-engineered enterprises. We think the cloud is actually going to be the next big wave, which will re-engineer enterprises, but it would kind of have no guardrails. It started off as a tool for agility of enterprises because it gave variability of cost. You could hand over your physical infrastructure to a provider who could give it back to you as a service, and therefore you take your capex to opex. And in recent times, as enterprises are going through accelerated digitization, and more importantly, they're actually going through dispersion as well, because enterprises are actually getting distributed or dispersed in their ecosystem. You have dispersion of work into homes, you have dispersion of healthcare into homes, you have dispersion of education into homes. So all of that is actually powered by the cloud. Effectively, the cloud can straddle all the way from agility to resilience to rapid digitization to focusing yourself on the core, and therefore the power of the cloud to make your operating model very futuristic is real. Most times now, enterprises are laying the foundation by building a consumption layer with infrastructure as a service. And that's the starting point. That's almost the glue on which you actually build layers of innovation, layers of value above it. Above it actually lies a bunch of utilities, a bunch of platforms, a bunch of AI and machine learning algorithms which automate your IT operations. The third layer is actually about business operations or business services. Business operations or business services are powered by platforms, they're powered by data exchanges, they're powered by SaaS software and a variety of innovation assets which power business operations. So effectively, most enterprises are straddling at the bottom with the infrastructure layer and then actually moving up the chain. The hyperscalers are playing a big role. They have done a decade of consumer innovation. So they're taking those experiences of consumer innovation and bringing it back to businesses to power innovation. Google has a huge estate of the consumer side. 15% of the internet traffic across the world moves through them. Amazon with AWS has 20% of their commerce traffic moving through Amazon. And with the recent advent of Teams, almost 150 million users across the world are actually on Teams. So there's a lot of insights these hyperscalers have. The cloud also gives this huge, unique opportunity to reimagine data in the third layer. Data can be reimagined by creating data exchanges. So you could actually take all your data, operational as well as the one which is sitting in data warehouses, onto the cloud and reimagine it for a variety of ways. In fact, the innovation is switching to compute and the chip, and most of the cloud providers are vertically integrating the stack because consumption of data has a bigger virtue than production of data. In fact, you would actually find that the chip is where a lot of innovation is happening. As the core cloud capabilities are built, it is becoming multi-cloud and hybrid cloud. Part of that workload is moving to public cloud and part of the workload is moving to private cloud. In fact, I have an estimate that 50% of the workloads will remain on private cloud and 50% of the workloads will go into the public cloud in that transformational journey. The need of the hour will be to create interoperability and portability between public and private clouds, as well as multiple cloud ecosystems which have strength in different specialized workloads. Netflix went from all private cloud to all public cloud to a hybrid cloud environment because when you start to see a movie on Netflix, all the content sits closer to you on a private cloud. But before you see a movie, all the preferences, what are other customers doing, what did you do last time, all of that is sitting on the public cloud. There's also a fair bit of work happening on security as a layer, which straddles between multi-cloud environments as well as private and public cloud environments. Net, all of this is a bunch of value-added layers above infrastructure as a service, straddling between hyperscalers and private cloud and cloud innovation companies. What we did on Infosys Cobalt is to curate all these assets from innovation companies in our network. We have an Infosys Innovation Network on the cloud, to hyperscalers, which have standard utilities, to utilities which are built from the racks of Infosys, because we have hundreds of thousands of developers who are walking the corridors of our clients and curating these assets. So we bring this entire ecosystem to power that transformational journey for large enterprises. And I'm so looking forward to talking to many of you as we go through this journey.